Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we have some potential breaking Boston Bruins news, and this comes from Cam Robinson of Elite Prospects. Developments are showing that the Bruins are set to hire Marco Sturm as the 30th head coach in franchise history. Now, the Bruins had been conducting their head coaching search all throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs, and they hadn't really been able to find anybody to fit as they originally said that they wanted. But obviously, a big name like Misha Donskov, the assistant coach of the Dallas Stars, fell through. They were looking at guys like Jay Woodcroft. Obviously, they had Joe Sacco as a finalist, the guy who coached us in the 2024-25 season. And even then, Mitch Love, who was a Capitals assistant coach and a defensive-minded guy, was also in the running. But it appears that if all signs point this way, Marco Sturm, a former Boston Bruin, will be the next head coach. And this all comes after firing Jim Montgomery early on in November of 2024, bringing in Joe Sacco as interim head coach for the 2024-25 season. And the Bruins finished with an Eastern Conference low 33, 39, and 10. They tied with the Flyers for the fewest points in the East this season. And what they're looking for is a coach who's going to turn this around quickly, and it appears that they believe that Sturm can be the guy. Now, yes, you can look at the other options and say, oh, they could have gone with this guy, they could have gone with that guy. Of course, they're going to go with a former Boston Bruin. But under the current circumstances of the team, you kind of have to go in the direction of, oh, who's a former Boston Bruin? Who's a guy who knows the franchise a bit? Now, is it the right hire? Well, let's look at a bit of Marco Sturm's coaching resume. So he was the head coach and general manager of the German national team from 2015 to 2018, shortly after he retired from the NHL in 2013-14. He won the 2015 Deutschland Cup, which is a huge feat for the Germans, I guess. He reached the quarterfinals at the 2016 and 2017 IIHF World Championships with the German national team, won the Olympic silver medal at the 2018 Pyeongchang Olympic Games. Now, yes, they didn't allow NHLers to play in the Olympics at the time, but that still is a huge feat for a country like Germany that isn't a blue blood national hockey country like Canada or Sweden or USA. It's still a huge deal in that case. And even then, he's given a lot of credit to unifying the German national team and giving them the respect that they have been looking for a while. Now, in terms of the NHL experience for Sturm, he was then hired as the assistant coach of the Los Angeles Kings. Now, the Kings didn't exactly do anything special in the time frame he was the assistant, because this was from 2018 to 2022, but in his final season as an assistant, the Kings made the playoffs, which is building back towards something that he has seen done before behind the bench, something that the Bruins are trying to emulate, is building back to making the playoffs. That is the goal, and definitely a longer process that Sturm has seen through before, and something that I think the front office thinks he can do. Now, what kind of coaching style is Sturm bringing to the Boston Bruins? Well, this is going to bore Bruins fans who know what the front office likes to do. He might be a defensive-minded coach. Now, Don Sweeney said at the end-of-season press conference that he wants a guy who can evolve players offensively, especially younger guys. Sturm has notably coached up players like Quentin Byfield, Brandt Clark. The Kings have had some good talent come through their ranks, and Sturm has been a part of that. Now, Don Sweeney had also mentioned that something he was looking for is that if you do not defend in the National Hockey League, you don't have sustained success. Not only do the Bruins value this, but the LA Kings have definitely molded their identity to be a defensive-style team. I mean, they got Anze Kopitar, they still have Drew Doughty, and a lot of their players are sort of that two-way power style. And so after his stint as assistant coach with the Los Angeles Kings, Sturm was named head coach of the Ontario Reign. Now, in this, I have a 2-year sample of his stats, if you will, with the Ontario Reign. Last season, the Reign's goals for was 13th, their goals against was 12th. So definitely in the upper echelon in terms of scoring, in terms of defense, in terms of that two-way style that the Kings like to adopt. And once again, I'll mention you see it in their style of play. And even then, their penalty kill was 10th last year in the AHL with an 83.5%. In 2023-24, the year prior to that, their goals for was 10th with 231 goals scored. They had a goals against of 198, which was actually 6th in the AHL. and their power play percentage was 21.8%, which was good for second in the league, only behind the Texas Stars. And we all know how good the Dallas Stars development is with their players. Now, looking back at it, there were a lot of different directions the Bruins could have gone. They could have gone for the former Oilers head coach in Jay Woodcroft. They could have gone with Joe Sacco. They could have gone with a guy like Mitch Love. But when looking at a player like Marco Sturm, a former Boston Bruin, this is a guy who understands the organization in and out a bit. He played for the Bruins for 5 years, and we all remember he scored the famous Winter Classic overtime winning goal in 2010. That's always a good memory. But it is good to see the Bruins going for a new hire that has seen NHL bench experience but hasn't been at the helm of it. Now, the Bruins clearly did their homework when it came to hiring Sturm. He's 46. He has definitely been around in terms of the hockey world, building up programs like the German national team, like the Ontario Reign. He values that defensive-minded style of play that I think the Bruins want to emulate from the LA Kings, that two-way style. But along with that, also emphasize the development of younger players, bring out their offense. As I said before, he's coached up guys like Quentin Byfield, Brant Clark. The Bruins don't exactly have that level of caliber of a prospect pool, but at the same time, there are a lot of young guys on the team that are going to be getting these NHL looks. And with that NHL ice time comes development. And you want the right guy who's going to guide them towards making the most effective play every single time they touch that ice. And I feel like Sturm can definitely be that guy. Along with his German international head coaching experience, he had coached at the U20 level, so he knows that sort of development style. And I also mentioned before the AHL experience as well definitely helps. And now you're giving him the opportunity to turn around a team that hasn't really seen a lack of success like it has this past season. But yeah, all in all, I do think that this is a hiring in the right direction, but let me know what you guys think. Do you think that the Bruins made the right decision in hiring the head coach? Do you think that they made the right process in hiring Marco Sturm as the 30th head coach in franchise history? Let me know in the comments what you think they should have done and if you think that Sturm is the right guy to put at the helm. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you legends in the next one. Bye-bye.